T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
On the planet, none other, you guys. It's Thursday night. You're here with the one and only Nickie Booshie, senior writer and host. And of course, I brought my tag partner. I've been in Impact for a while now, so of course I couldn't wait to get my partner over here. The other half of the most dominating tag team in women's wrestling history. What can I say?
I don't know who else you could be doing this show with besides me.
Oh wow, that's a big one.
That is.
That's a big one. Pause. How did you how was Impact tonight for you? Any surprises or any things that you already knew that were gonna kind of transpire?
Of course if you've been paying attention to social media in the main event tonight, you definitely knew exactly what was going to happen. If you was on a rock, Chelsea Green is spoiled it for you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, Chelsea Green did not
care.
Did not care.
She's like, you know what? It's
but if you paid attention to NWA as well, Mickie kind of attacks Chelsea first, right? Mm-hmm. Or are all bets off when the men are fighting? I find that to be very and we'll get into that later. But I'm very curious. Nick Aldis, you just gonna let that happen like that? Very, very.
If a woman get beat up like that?
I don't know. Chelsea, listen, we know how Chelsea gets in. We've seen that. Mm-hmm. If you one of the biggest videos we have on Women's Wrestling Talk, honestly, almost at 300,000 in views. But it's when Chelsea is almost attacked by Moose.
Yeah.
And we know that Chelsea has no problem getting in the way. I wouldn't even say getting in the way. I honestly would say fighting whoever her man is fighting. They don't care. No. They really genuinely don't care. The Cordonas are taking on everyone, but we'll get into that a little later. First and foremost, one of my favorite, Josh Alexander, he had quite the message to say to Moose, the Impact World Champion, after Moose decided to make a stop at Josh Alexander's residence last week. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Moose's actions and how Josh decided to, take matters into his own hands since Scott D'Amore,
I feel like Josh did what any other man would have done when it comes to your opponent or an enemy coming to your house and, unannounced, making his way inside, having, conversations with the wife and, intimidating the kid and whatnot, so I can understand where Josh frustration comes from. And he definitely showed it tonight when him and Moose had that brawl backstage, and so on and so forth. I'm here for it. I'm ready for Moose to lose this title anyway. So,
well, listen, we have a few people in the comments. Shout out to Mika, one of our writers and hosts as well. Make sure you guys check her out along with our new host, Al, on Wednesday nights, AW. And we also have the Wrestling Classic, Bobby in here as well. Thank you guys so much for joining. Yeah, I Josh Alexander is on the verge of like snapping. And if he does not get this championship, I'm going to be very disappointed. I want to see Josh be I don't know what the I don't know if conviction would be the right word. I don't know if it's just pure revenge, but Moose, if you guys remember, Moose like he cashed in his claws to defeat Josh Alexander
Right
moments
after.
after Josh Alexander won the title. His family was in the ring. This story is honestly one of the best stories that we've seen in Impact history in a very, very long
Yeah. Thus far, I mean,
time.
like you take
Bobby,
them in.
the only person here that will be surprised is Santana. I have the spoiler, but we have so much love for Impact Wrestling. We don't like to give spoilers. But
I feel like I know who it is.
I feel like you know
'Cause
who
I
it
feel like
is.
I've seen the photo, but
Yeah,
I'm
probably
gonna
on.
type it. I'm gonna put it in the private chat and let me know if I'm right.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And that will take place. I think Deanna will be having a champ challenge next week against
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I
There's there has not been released if
yeah, we
Deanna
don't do
actually
spoilers here unless
no,
you.
we don't. We hate it. There hasn't been any clarification on if Deanna actually retained.
No.
No, there's no confirmation on that. I don't know if people are just not letting it out or whatever. But moving right along, speaking of Deanna Peraza, the virtuosa, um, her future husband had a match tonight, Steve Macklin versus Heath. Now Heath was trying to avenge the loss that his best friend Rhino took last week from Macklin. Was not successful, obviously. Um, I have no Heath and Rhino are probably like the only people that I really just I don't know. I love everyone else from Impact. I just feel like um I'm not gonna root for them. I'm gonna root for Steve Macklin, obviously. Now, I think Steve Macklin is a talent that we really need to pay attention for. I'll say this. Um I'm not understanding why Steve Macklin isn't in the Ultimate X match going on at WrestleCon, but maybe he shouldn't be in there because the match that I saw, what I saw him do or try to attempt to do to Trey Miguel, my favorite,
Child.
at Hard to Kill was a lot.
I mean, he almost. There was a moment where we thought Trey would have lost that title. To be honest, I mean, it was
You
like
know, you know
it
how
was Nicki
frantic
on the edge of her seat.
I went. I was literally getting on the plane to Hard to Kill and still not even know where the card was going to be, if he was going to be on the card. I was watching Trey Miguel matches the whole time in the chat, just like you guys. I don't know if this is whatever. And then we get down to it. And then he hits the, he hits the fly meteor from the top rope and just 1, 2, 3 on Macklin. I have the video. I need to post it for next week. But I have since then, and even before that, I got to see Steve Macklin and Jonathan Gresham, who we saw pop up tonight as well. But I got to see that match live, and when I say, like, Steve Macklin is he's a straight fighter, but he's a wrestler. Like it's almost like he's a street wrestler. I don't know how to explain that as much, but this man is ultimately like he's someone that everyone is really gonna have to pay attention to. Did you think for one moment that Heath was gonna get the victory?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I have no faith in Heath or his kids. I have no faith. I mean,
and the kids.
I just feel like Heath
No.
and Rhino. It's the same thing that they were doing in WWE. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Tag together, so on and so forth. So I don't feel like I mean, Rhino and Heath have accomplished a lot separately, But together, I mean, they were tag team title champions in WWE. But as far as like anything currently or now, it's like, meh.
He will. He will. He will. Let me tell you something. Trey's not dropping.
Joseph has no faith.
If he drops, and I should have grabbed my, didn't have time. If he drops, it will be a rebellion. But this man is not dropping. He's not dropping.
I already told Nickie. We've already discussed how him and Jordan Grace are going to have an interaction. I said that Trey Miguel was going to try to do a Hurricane Runner on Jordan Grace, and she was going to counter it with a power bomb.
Listen, Jordan Grace, be careful with that man.
So if that happens, you heard it here first.
Don't play with me.
We're going to see if he does some type of Hurricane Runner on Jordan Grace, and she reverses and she counters it with a power bomb.
And I'm telling you,
if that happens, I'm going to laugh.
I'm not coming after you. I'm coming after Gresham. Okay, so better be prepared. And since we're here, you guys don't want to miss it. Please, if you have not yet, get your tickets. The greatest X Division Impact Champion, Trey Miguel himself, I got a little choked up there, will be defending.
I felt like you were lying, but
his ultimate. No, I was really honestly just trying to soak this in, honestly, because anytime I am on the heel of seeing a Trey Miguel match, I think I'm almost as nervous as he is. But this match will be taking place at WrestleCon. We will be there live in effect. And those who
front row on the front row, okay, by the ring. Do you hear me?
Listen. Like, I will be.
Yes.
I will be very.
We'll be there.
Nervous. I will be very nervous, but I know for a fact. I know for a fact that Trey Miguel will be winning. Now, the one thing that I do want to hit on before we leave, or before we stop talking about this,
move forward.
Is I'm just not used to talking about Trey. That's all. Like I'm just not used to it. Card subject to change. Jordan Grace and Trey and Rich and Willie and the guy from Honor No More. If y'all want to drop his name in the comments, I don't like any of those people. Were originally in the match. Chris Bay was not in this match. He was actually an alternate for Mike Bailey, who is also in another match at WrestleCon, and he'll be facing Alex.
But I like how they switched them out though, because remember, like I sent it over to you, and I was like, wait a minute. That like, when did Chris Bay get a part of this match? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get to see Jay White wrestle. I get to see Chris Bay wrestle for the first time. You can do all that. You can do that all day. I don't care.
I just want to say this. I will risk my whole entire trip at WrestleCon for Trey Miguel. Yes, it says Nickie is gonna hop in the ring and take out Grace. I have no problem, and bring that X Division Championship back home.
That man gonna get clothes on.
This is a good match, child. This is a good match also, and we'll get into that as well a little later. But moving right along to tonight's actions, the crowd's favorite, Eddie Edwards, Rocky Romero. Really good match, really solid match. And I mean, at the end, we saw, the ROH World Champion, Mr. Gresham. Make his presence known, who he will be defending his championship at the ROH Supercard as well. Who is his opponent? Is it Jay Lethal?
I think so. I believe.
If anyone knows who Jonathan Gresham will be facing next Friday at the ROH, I know if in NYC franchise, who we saw at the show tonight. With the exclusive footage of Chelsea Green. Shout out to him for the picture of Chelsea Green. Unbelievable. Can't wait to talk about it. But if you know who's facing Jonathan Gresham at the ROH card, please let us know.
He's facing Bandito?
Bandito will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jay Lethal is facing Lee Moriarty.
Okay. That's going to be a good, solid match, too. Really love it, and I got to see, like I said earlier, Jonathan Gresham. I got to watch him wrestle the night after Hard to Kill when they were doing taping. So I mean, I'm excited. A lot of amazing things that are happening. A lot of booking that's happening. You guys know we are on the road to rebellion in this promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget it. So, with that being said, we did have a triple threat match tonight to see who's going to be added to the match that already includes Trey Miguel and Ace Austin. And of course, speaking of him, it was Mike Bailey that got the
Mm-hmm.
win. Are you shocked?
Not really. I haven't really heard too much about Laredo Kid in a very, very long time, which I ended up calling
Mhm.
him Kalisto, but that's not racist because I'm a part of that
Oh
family.
my God! Listen, Santana really had me thinking that this was Kalisto because I've seen Dorado Kid actually perform before. And listen, I'm going to be very honest. And if you know this about me, I give very little to men's wrestling, period. Like in my life, it's a lot of people that I don't know, a lot of people, that they name in the clubhouse group, a lot of boomers, as someone like to call it. Um, Honestly, and since we're here, Trey Miguel is the reason why I even pay attention to men's wrestling now. I don't think anyone is at that pinnacle. I think there's people that wrestle good, but I think then there's Trey Miguel when it comes to men's wrestling for me. Now,
It's just like all
Lorano,
the high fly stuff he does, and to look at him,
it's just everything. Like he to me reminds me of
Ricochet.
Sasha Banks. Like the way him and Sasha Banks wrestle it's very similar to me. They are very similar in stature, move sets, dynamic, just their presence, and I get that a little bit from Laredo Kid, and I thought this was a really stellar match. I thought that Rich Quan,
Rich Homie Quan,
Rich
let's
Homie
go.
Quan,
Fuck that.
not
And they just
anyway,
like, ooh. Know what
this
you
fool
mean?
operator.
All right, all right.
All right. Rich Swan. All right. I thought that this was. I'm sorry, not Rich Swan. Willie Mack. Tripping. I really thought that this was a really good match overall. I've seen Willie Mack and Rich Swan perform too over the 8-9 months I've been going to Impact shows recently, and stellar. The one thing that I love about and before we wrap up the men, I really love the action that we get, the wrestling, the pure wrestling that we get with Impact. We get story, which is always
Mhm.
important. We always need a good story. I mean, going back to what I said about Moose and Josh Alexander, I need Josh Alexander to win. Like
He had to win.
there's nothing else that um that I would like to see. I was there at Slugfest in Louisville when he made his triumphant return back to the Impact Zone, and there's just a sense of um needing this in this victory, if that's a word.
Mhm.
We need Moose to be defeated by Josh Alexander. It all makes sense now. All the
It
people
does.
that Moose has went through, all the people that all the times that we've had to sit and watch Josh Alexander go toe to toe with other people and jump in these random feuds. And I mean, I'm sure he enjoyed every step of the way because he was getting to wrestle, the Charlie Hosses and the Jonas, and I mean, just other people. And so I'm glad we circled around. That
Hmm.
was a wide circle, but I'm glad we made it back.
That was a very interesting circle.
It was.
It's a few
And
big.
it will be Josh Alexander and Moose at Rebellion. Before the impact, you guys know, if you pay any attention, I always live tweet before the impact to show them some love. Shout out to Gia Miller as well, always showing the page love. Just recently did an interview with our very own Stephanie, so make sure you guys check that out on her podcast. Great
Mhm.
interview. Gia opens up about how she gets into wrestling and some fun facts and stuff. Really captivating interview, and I really love it. But before the impact, we did get a match. Crazy Steve and Sharar, I believe. Anyway, I can't pronounce his name, but he was in the bathroom when I was in the bathroom. at one of the shows, and it was so funny. Like I was just like, wow, that's that guy. I've seen him wrestle before. And they put on a really stellar match. Most of the matches on Before the Impact really, I feel like, don't get enough recognition. Like Jordan Grace and Havoc did a match on Before the Impact, and I mean just like stellar performance. And of course, they go over all of the stuff that we saw last week, and then they throw in some other history. But we always get a good match. So make sure you guys tune in before the Impact. Oh yes, let's bring some AEW over here. We love to open the forbidden door because Tony Khan didn't want to do it for the women, but that's another story. Yes, the interview with none other than our CEO TK, the EIC Santana, and of course our writer and host Mika did an interview with Anna Jay recently. It dropped on Fight in YouTube, so make sure you guys check that out. Shout out to 411 Wrestling, I believe, on Twitter.
Yeah, we had a lot of people. Like,
a lot of people
shared, Fightful, all that stuff.
It was a really stellar interview, and I think the one thing that I love about the interviews that we do here, some of our hosts really know how to just really pull things that just have never been pulled before. I think we see a different side of Anna Jay that a lot of people just don't see in certain interviews, which is, it's very important. And not only just being women's wrestling talk, but women's wrestling in general, it's important for us to showcase women in the best manner. I know you guys know how the Salt Shakers get down. We're not big fans of a lot of your faves. We don't care.
But I can still do an interview with them.
We can still make sure that we're covering the content and make sure that we're giving you the best of these women, because just like you guys, for some of us, we do become fans of people that we never thought that we would become fans of, or have more of a respect or appreciation for them. And so make sure you guys check out all the interviews because they're really heartfelt, and we have been really busting out a lot of good work and some great content. And Mika says this a lot. We are here for you. So, and you know what? I thought about that. Mika said that the other day, and I was just like, I love that.
Am I here for y'all?
Santana, we know how you rock. We know how you rock.
I don't know if I'm here.
People love you. You're definitely the fan favorite.
I do not think I'm a fan favorite.
We'll wait for the comments. But moving right along, that is all of the men's.
Don't try to skip over the Bullet Club like that, because the Bullet Club, they did have a backstage segment where I don't want to hear it. Don't worry about it. I get it.
A lot of people have backstage sandwiches.
Yeah, whatever. So the Bullet Club had a front segment, backstage and everything. We're good, you know what I'm saying? Like WrestleMania 38 party people. What's up? They had a segment backstage that's cut their little promos and everything and stuff like that. And the Good Brothers talked about the Briscoes and what they're gonna do. What is it? At what a multiverse thing? Or they're supposed to face them? They're facing at the multiverse, right? Or is it for
which one? These your people, baby.
No, it's only two of them are my people. I do like the Good Brothers. Don't get me wrong, I do like the Good Brothers. I do believe at the multiverse we are getting the Good Brothers versus the Briscoes. I think at ROH, I could be wrong, but I think FTR and Briscoes are fighting. Yeah, it's FTR and Briscoes and ROH. Okay. So it's the Good Brothers and the Briscoes, which is going to be very interesting seeing the Briscoes for the first time. But I feel iffy about them people. But yeah,
I saw them in person over the weekend in NWA, and I mean, I'm ready to see them again. I'm not gonna give so. I'll say this: I wasn't impressed enough for me to get a clear judgment, if that makes sense. I still want, the jury is still out for me. I'm excited for you to see them because I really want people to see your facial expressions the entire time.
Yeah, I think my shades are going to be on.
Not your shades like Mary J.
So I'm in a bit shades on, like They'll catch me on camera like, what's she got shades on? But of course, I am excited to see Jay White and Chris Bay for the first time in person. Honestly, see their matches live. Nickie has seen multiple occasions, and I want to see what
I
this
see Chris Bay
interaction.
like 10, 15 times now.
We
Honestly.
really have. So I'm
I
excited
really
to
have.
see what this interaction is gonna be like.
Because
Are we gonna get another diss or what?
the crazy thing is, I saw Chris Bay at another promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a few matches from Jay White as well. I even had an interaction with him, which is crazy. Make sure you guys check my Twitter. My pinned tweet. I got dissed by none other than you guys' favorite Bullet Club member.
Will Nickie get dissed again?
No, I'll be doing the
Do
dissing.
you think it's gonna happen?
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's fine. I'll have on another Trey Miguel shirt. If anybody want to join the I Hate Trey fan club presented by me, it is what it is. If you like, listen, we'll see who gets dissed. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. session 4. We will be in the building. Make sure you're there. We'll be in the line for
wait to get my picture for both. I mean, Chris Bay is gonna be at session 4 too, so I can't. I'm gonna get pictures with both of them. So.
Congrats to that man.
Thank you.
Shout out to both of them. Like I told Bay, you probably would have won the match if your homeboy didn't diss me. So we're gonna see.
Don't try to blame, but don't try to put it on Jay White to say that you are the reason why they lost the match.
I'm not the reason. I said that maybe the focus got a little shifted. He was so focused on me wearing a Trey Miguel shirt. I was just trying to dap him up. I thought it was all love. It's cool though. I'm gonna have on my Trey shirt and we're gonna get it popping. Moving right along, since we got to make sure Santana is going to make sure, since she is the resident Bullet Club member over here.
If you can just sit here and talk about Trey, he wasn't even on the show. If we at least let's talk about people who were
relevant.
It is relevant.
Champion.
It doesn't matter. They're still relevant.
They cut a whole promo chasing their fucking title. The titles.
But they were here.
I watch my mouth.
They were here.
They were here, and I'm happy. Who else? There was another. So we are on the backstage segments as well tonight. So let's just make sure that we clear everybody. Santana is our resident Bullet Club member, and we appreciate her for not forgetting about her winning team. That's not the one.
That's Switchblade. Thank you very much. Mind you, being what does Trey got?
Don't play with me.
What in the slingshot?
Don't play with him. Spider Trey. We won't play by him. But anyway,
this man want to be a Spider-Man Lord.
I think that's the most I've ever spent on men's wrestling.
This honestly. Is almost 30 minutes. Jesus.
But God. I love, honestly, Impact. People honestly, Trey, Josh Alexander, Chris Bay. They don't have this. I mean, they don't give me this content. I'm just being honest. If I was to say who is my favorite male wrestler in WWE right now, on the record, clip it right now. Baron Corbin, thank you for your time.
You know what I'm saying? He wrestles.
But he's my favorite, though. I think he's underrated, and it is what it is. With Impact, I think that their promotion, and I've even told Ross this at a show, honestly, out of all the shows, I've been to a WWE show, I've been to AEW, I've been to NWA now, I've been to Impact multiple times. Impact has the best programming. Honestly, match after match after match.
But it gets so slept on, though. That's
it is. I think people are starting to wake up on Impact a little more. But I think that people are starting to realize the product is really good. If you're someone who chases a story, every week, it's not the place to be because you might not see it. You might not see certain things. They're building stories as they go. But legitimately, this is my favorite division when it comes to men, especially that X division. There's so much variety that we get, and I think that we see just a very different mode as things start to transpire. But with that being said, we're moving right along to the women. So before we get into the women's match that we had main event tonight, which was very immaculate, very beautiful, gave us everything that we were looking for, especially me. We did see a backstage segment between your new Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rayne on their respective shows. Caleb with a K seems to not really know where his loyalty lies. He doesn't know. We don't know. It seems like, and I don't know, I may be fishing a little here, but it seems like the only people that really know the loyalty is not even Caleb himself. It's the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the influence is starting to fall apart. And I mean, shout out to Madison for just being a like a super veteran in the knockouts division. I really feel like if I was in wrestling and I was in Impact, I would want Madison always around. She seems like that locker room leader. She seems someone that's always like I think a lot of people slept on her and Dashwood as a tag team when it first popped off. But now I think people are starting to realize like they are, and this is no shade, but I think they're the better team. And that's out of the other tag teams that we have. We don't have many.
We really
but
don't.
What's so odd to me about the women's, like the knockouts tag team division versus like any other tag team division, is like even with 3 teams, they're still more solid.
Yeah, they are.
How does that work? You have the Inspiration, Decay, and your tag team champions, the Influence.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, because I think it's because that in the individuality, all of them can hold their own.
Absolutely.
And put together, it's unstoppable. You know that they're going to go out there and do what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you put in, but the only difference is Inspirations, they've been working together for a long time. Decay, working together for a long time. With Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood, you know, they were kind of put together.
Brains on the outside.
But they made it work, you know, and it worked for them.
They almost remind me, well, these groups remind me of each other, but like Dakota and Wendy, how they were, and how they're friends outside of wrestling, and how it just works. With Dashwood and Rayne, I feel the same way, and I hope they have a lengthy reign. I got to see them as well during the Slugfest, and I'm really excited. I really hope that they're somehow played into this. We've seen them have, and both respective teams have had a hard time with some of the protocols, and we had some matches get pushed back or changed and stuff like that. So it's really good to see them be able.
They said in the comments, well, both Sam and Bobby said the same thing. They would like to see the Allure, Angelina Love, and Mandy Lion show up to Impact Wrestling, because I mean, Angelina Love, beautiful people, Madison Rayne, beautiful people. That's history right there.
That's history.
So I mean,
and what's really crazy is tonight when I was live tweeting, someone tweeted that they would like to see Angelina Love answer the Champ Challenge. How massive would that be for Deonna Purrazzo? If we look at the people that she's faced, I don't think she, since becoming Knockouts champion the second time, since losing the championship, now being champ again, I don't think she's ever had anyone in the ring with her like
Angelina Love. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Deonna has had some interesting like competitors, to defend her title against.
I think Lady Frost and Giselle Shaw have been the best ones. People would say Mickie James, but I just don't agree.
I like Miranda Alizé. She was really good.
She was a good one.
She was a really good one. They could have left Santana Garrett where she was. Like,
I agree. That was a bit of a throw off, especially, and I don't know if it was just like Deonna
off week or something, or what?
Like just being like, let me just face my friend right quick because we're both
that's about it.
I mean, she wanted to face Chelsea, and maybe this will build up to her opponent at the multiverse.
Because we still don't know who it is. Like, and the thing is that I hope it's somebody really good.
I do.
really hope it's
I
somebody
do
really
too.
good.
And we will get into that. We'll end with that. Actually, that's exactly what we'll be ending with tonight because I think it's so important. Um, this will technically be our take home episode only because we will be in the midst of traveling Thursday night. There won't be if there's a recap show.
We won't be here.
We won't be here. The Salt Shakers will be at Wale Mania.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing like lives on Instagram. So if you're not following the social media, please do because we'll be popping in and out. I will be somehow, some way, somewhere giving you something for impact. It may not be in the form of this, but it will be something. You will see
It could
me
be like retweeting something that
something.
that's
Like I will be you will see something. So you may not get what you're used to, but remember next week is WrestleMania week in WrestleCon and there's so much stuff going on. So this is kind of a take home episode for us in a sense. So there's so many questions that we
Don't
still
be
have.
looking for us next week now. Because we told
There
you.
might be somebody here, but don't look for us. And I might, if anything, I'll pop in. Like Mickie and Chelsea popped in on NWA, but that's another story. Tonight, your Impact Knockouts World Champion Tasha Steelz, Petty Steelz herself, the Boricua. That's it, right?
You did. Look at
Yes.
you practicing. Look at you.
Badass. None other than Tasha Steelz, my boo. And in women's wrestling talks, I mean, honestly, if I could give like Mickie James an award, I would really give her an award here at Women's Wrestling Talk. Probably definitely one of the favorites here. And shows us tremendous love, both of these ladies. But they met each other in Philly in a street fight. And let's just be honest. We're not here to talk about this match.
It was a good match.
It was a phenomenal match.
Amazing.
I honestly thought that this match, I really didn't want it to end. I thought that I was sick and tired of Tasha having to give Mickie yet again another opportunity in the ring with her. No tea, no shade. But I mean, damn, like I want this again. Like, hello, like, and this is a good question. Like, who is next? But I'll tell you. Yeah, I think Tasha's next challenger was in the ring. After the match. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Ho. Okay, if you don't understand that reference,
to the OV.
if you don't understand that reference, you need to do some hip hop history. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Chelsea Green. Okay, this is Hot Mess. This is a new era, and let me just say this. If you know anything about what this woman has been doing in other promotions, this is something that was expected. Now, Chelsea, I love you. You called me a liar on Twitter, and it's okay. I still love you for that. But I knew the whole time. Look at you sitting over there with your wrist and your hand and your cast, and you think you're fooling somebody. You ain't fooling nobody. You still weren't fooling nobody, babes. Let me tell you something. Good for you for sticking up, letting everyone know that there are no friends in this business. Ain't no friends in the industry. That's what Drake said. Check out the recap because the recap is out now. These people want answers. These people want answers, Chelsea. You were sitting in the ring grinning at someone you've been calling your friend. You've been calling this woman your friend. People want to know. And then you just sit there.
Watch your friend get beat up.
And you watch your friend. Now, I don't want answers, Chelsea. You owe me nothing. Shout out to you. I'm proud of you, Chelsea. I'm proud of you for getting rid of her. Get rid of her. Now send her back to NWA. You're not done. But let me tell you something, Chelsea. You did something that I never thought. I really didn't think that you were going to really pull out the big guns tonight. You brought the piece to your half, your other half, Matt Cardona, the NWA world champion, the digital media champion. This man got 12, 15 titles. But you brought him out, and let me tell you something. This is pure. This is story, and I love it, Santana. I mean, and I know I've been going on and on and on because we,
Yeah,
we talk.
we talked about this, and I mean, like, what I will say is that, you know, watching Chelsea's Greens grow since, like, you know, leaving WWE and whatnot, it has been very interesting to watch.
Mhm.
She has definitely shown us why a lot of wrestlers who either make it to WWE don't last long, and they shine outside of the promotion in
Mhm.
other promotions. And I would say that this is the best that I've seen Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green as a heel, like, she's bringing what she normally does in other promotions outside of Impact to
Yep.
Impact, and making an impact on someone who's supposed to be her friend, Mickie James. And you know, and Mickie just keep getting beat up. You get beat up at your performance, and then you get beat up in the ring. You know, it's just like it's opened up a new door with Mickie and Chelsea Green. I feel like this is going to be a really, really good feud. And if you have Matt Cardona, give her. Oh my god! When I say Matt Cardona came out of nowhere, and
The
I mean,
business. Do you hear me?
he came out of nowhere and gave her the business. He really did. And no lie, Mickie took that really well. She sold that move.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to see, you know, what Chelsea's response would be to the crowd come next week, even though we probably won't be able to see it. But um, I'm pretty sure social media will definitely let us know exactly what Chelsea had to say. But I'm excited.
I'm curious to know.
Maybe Mickey's husband will get involved.
Maybe Nick, that's what I'm thinking. Will Nick come to the Impact Zone and handle that business, or because if you guys watch NWA
Mm-hmm.
over the weekend, night 2,
Mm-hmm.
that Cordona tapped to
He
Nick,
did.
but because Chelsea Green hit Jeff Jarrett, who was the special guest
Mm-hmm.
referee, and hit him a
Cost him
little
the
bit,
title.
he cost him.
Cost him.
So there's a lot going on. Now we
Mm-hmm.
did see Mickie, and this is what's like really confusing. I'm really wondering how other fans, maybe we're just like, whatever. We're still like, let's just play it in our head backwards. Let's act like NWA didn't happen first.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much in between that I'm gonna be really honest. I do
Mm-hmm.
not want the feud between Chelsea Green and Mickie James to be an Impact. I don't. I want it to be an NWA. I want it to be the way we kick off NWA Empower too.
Yeah.
They should be the main event. Chelsea should go over. She won the the Invitational Cup at
Mm-hmm.
the first
And
ever NWA, right?
yeah, she
So
did.
why not let her go over Mickie James and then have a stellar match and leave the knockouts division out of it? Because let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you something, Chelsea, if you're not going after Tasha Steelz after this, I don't know what you're doing. Chelsea doesn't have any. I mean, Tasha really doesn't have anybody. Well,
No.
let me pause on that because we don't do spoilers here. But you guys will see Tasha Steelz, her new opponent, next week, I'm guessing.
Probably.
Um, so it's not like she doesn't have anybody. It's just this would be a good match too, Mickie and Matt Cardona. And
Mm-hmm.
just let Chelsea go after Tasha. But I don't know. Like I if this goes well, we will get a stellar feud.
Yeah.
And what I would like to see is that Chelsea can get if I want Chelsea to take a very similar route to where Cordona's going. Let
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea be NWA champion, women's champion. Let her be knockouts champion. Let her have the hot mess summer, and
Yeah.
let her really like
I mean, honestly, it could be a hot mess summer for
yeah.
Chelsea Green. She could be falling into the footsteps of her husband Matt Cardona and carrying all of these titles,
I'm gonna
and
say
all these various different promotions that he wrestles to or that she shows up and probably wrestles to at as well. So I mean, why not let there be the summer of the Cardonas?
depending on how the next 7 to 8 months go, we
Mm-hmm.
may see Chelsea Green in a top 10 spot coming at PWI.
Maybe so.
And on maybe so. And honestly speaking, if you guys haven't checked out the interview that they did recently with Britt, Deanna, and Chelsea, all talking about how they're friends in the industry, those are your top three right now. Whether you like it or not, Britt, with or without a title, Deanna champ, Chelsea Green dominating in her character and just really being like all over the place. These three women have really been the face of women's wrestling for the past like year. And I really hope, and I think Deanna is really beginning to get her flowers. Britt, they're gonna hate her regardless, but we all know she's a pillar of AEW. But Chelsea Green is that one to watch for.
It's like
And
a
I think
wild card.
she very much is. And I think Chelsea Green is waking these people up. Heel turns wake people up. Look at what happened to Bayley. Now Bayley was a big star in NXT, one of the greatest. Honestly, the John Cena of NXT. If you want to be honest, I always say this: hugger, hugger, hugger. Loved it. Best character, everything. When she turned heel, she took herself to the next level. People are awaiting someone like that to come. We are waiting to see the next move from Chelsea Green, whether you like it or not. She calls all of us internet idiots and says that we are at her knees at this point. And so, Chelsea, if you're listening, I'm here. And I'm here for all of this. Thank you again for the love always. Shout out to all the knockouts that show us love, from Gail Kim to Mickie James to Lady Frost, Jordan Grace, Tasha Steeles. I mean, all of the knockouts really show us a lot of love, and we appreciate that. And we love really the covering this is it's much different. You get something way different covering knockouts, and we know this from history of TNA and Impact, the greatest women's division,
Hands down.
And I'm glad they've gotten back to a certain mode where people are starting to pay attention respectfully. Before we get out of here, of course, I mean,
this is the ending.
This is the ending, baby. Mickie, I don't know what you're gonna do, babe. I'm sure you're gonna find. Listen. I know you got some tricks up that flannel. So,
not the flannel, Lord.
Baby,
it's hardcore country. Hardcore country. I'm gonna give it to you guys.
I'm gonna give it, and she is. Before we get out of here, you guys, we are 1 week out. You guys, I mean, I'm so excited. Me and Santana, this is our first WrestleCon.
It's WrestleMania.
Everything. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
But seriously, you guys, check us out. Front row, we will be there. So the first show that they're having at WrestleCon, and tickets are still on sale. So make sure you guys check it. Make sure you guys get your tickets if you're not going. If you haven't already, but if you're not going, make sure you check it out on Fight TV as well. This is 3 hours of pure Impact Wrestling. So first we have the multiverse matches. Jesus Christ.
I gotta prepare myself. I definitely need to take me a nap before this. I have to so much, so I can be like ready to go.
And then we have IPWF, you guys. So it's like throwback 80s, 90s wrestling. Some really cool characters.
I don't even think for that one, do we really have an idea what's going to take place at that show?
We don't know exactly, but I do know that I'm almost certain Trey is going to be doing the whole deal. Yeah.
I mean, they haven't said anything in regards to what type of matches would take place,
and I don't think they do. I don't think matches get announced until the day of, or like it's really random. And I think it's supposed to be like not a surprise show, but I think it's supposed to be one of those like all out, like it's it's like a dark show, if that makes sense. So it's like, and that's what
Yeah.
I feel like. I could be wrong because I've never attended one, but
Yeah.
it's almost like a just like a
Inclusive like type show.
yeah,
Like
like it's just
you really don't know
you
what
just
to
go and
expect.
you know you're gonna have a good time because you're gonna get to see some of your faves that
Mm-hmm.
aren't like in character. Like I've only seen Trey like this on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's there because there is a selective few of them that do this. I think Jordan Grace is one of
Mm-hmm.
them. Willie Mack is on the card most of the time. Um, so I'm excited. I think it's going to be crazy. Um, but for
Same.
those who are still here, we want to thank everyone for coming in. Joseph, Bobby, Amazing Tribe, of course, showing love. We had Sammy come in, of course, our writer Mika. We had the Wrestling Classic come in earlier as well. So thank you guys always for tuning in. We have some amazing stuff coming up. So make sure you tune into that as well and all of our post shows. But last but
Mm-hmm.
not least, for those who are in the comments, and I'm going to turn it over and ask Santana as well. As we're gearing up for WrestleCon, we do know that the virtuoso Deonna
Mm-hmm.
Purrazzo will be defending her title. Now we don't know who. Champ Challenge has been going on for months now. People in the comments, I want you to comment one person and let me know who you think it is. And I want to know who Santana thinks it is. But before I turn it over to Santana, I'm going to tell you guys who I think it is because Taya Valkyrie and Deanna's match for the AAA Raina Day Reigns Championship has already been booked for April.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not my guess anymore. I'm going to go on a limb and say that since she now has booked herself at certain sessions, I do believe that Dr. Britt Baker will be answering that challenge and she will be challenging and winning. Yes, and winning the ROH Women's World Championship. And she will be the face of ROH Women's Division, DMD. Santana?
You always do it so hard.
Go
Like
home.
it's so still. Um honestly, I really have no idea. I would like for it to be like a Tony Storm. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind it. Even if she doesn't win or whatnot, I would still like to see like a Tony Storm do that. I just really hope that it's somebody that will like blow everybody's mind. Like nobody is really sitting there like thinking that this is going to be the person who it is. I mean, it could be somebody from the indies, that we probably never even heard before, you know. Um, but I mean, anything can happen at this multi universe, and I really it has to be somebody who's there. It has to be. So I'm excited either way, whoever it is. I want to be excited for whoever it is.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Tony Storm, but I doubt that would happen. But
Ooh.
if it happens, like I don't know.
Wow. That's a good one.
If
I
it's
should like that one.
I don't know. I mean, I would want that to happen, but I don't know. I'm just happy with whoever it is, but I hope it's somebody that we haven't already seen before. That's my thing. Make it
It
spicy.
is too. And someone in the comments made a good point. Uh as of now, Deonna Purrazzo is not booked for the ROH Supercard. I will go on a limb and say this. I am very surprised that as the ROH Women's Champion, there's been nothing, there's been no talks since Tony Khan has, pretty much taken over ROH. I'm very surprised. I don't know if they're holding something or not releasing something.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is just me being, just being a fan. I don't think Deanna's gonna be carrying the ROH championship for much longer. Now I could be wrong, but I think whoever answers the challenge, if it's someone that like shock of the century type thing, I think she could lose.
What about
But
Mercedes Martinez or something?
that could be a good one because she's an
Or
AEW.
or Athena.
Athena, we saw that earlier. Bobby, I think, had said that would be a good one.
I think he said Allison K. One of them. I
Yeah.
don't know. He may have said Athena, but I saw
No,
Allison.
I'm saying earlier there was someone,
Oh,
Bobby, who
okay.
said he would like to see Deanna. It might have been Joseph, who said they wanted to see Deanna versus Athena, which I think would be a good match. It
I don't
could
think it'll be
be.
Martin Bell. Who knows
I
what Tony
know.
will do?
I know this may sound crazy, and it's something that I necessarily wouldn't want, but I have to be honest. It could be Thunder Rosa.
If Thunder Rosa walk out there, I'm leaving.
I
I,
just know that. I just know
no.
that if she walks out, it could be Marty Bell. That's a good one. I do know if she walks out though, it game time. Y'all better get all the footage that y'all can, cause like my phone goes up. Like one thing in Santana, you know, but this is your first time like seeing it in real life.
Mm-hmm.
When Deanna comes out, clear the room, like just clear the room. So I hope that whoever she faces, it is someone that I would actually like want to see or a
Yeah.
big surprise. But I
Yeah.
have to keep my options open, and I know that anything can happen.
It
With that being
can.
said, you guys, no matter what happens, we will be there live in effect. We have so much going on. Don't forget, we're still doing post shows and post shows and post shows. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so make sure you guys are here. Thank you guys for like blowing up the comments at the AEW Dynamite post show last night. It was amazing, so much fun. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Make sure you guys join us tomorrow. Santana and Stephanie will be holding it down for the SmackDown and Rampage after show. We will
Mm-hmm.
also be back Sunday for Turnbuckle Glam, and then again on Monday, the Salt Shakers. We'll be going back. We put on the whole Mickie James. We're going back to WWE
Monday
for the
Night
Monday
Raw.
Night Raw for the post show. So make sure
The going home show for WrestleMania.
And I'm telling you now, it's gonna be blink of an eye. We're not covering any other men. It's all dedicated to the women because it is the last Monday also in Women's History Month. So let's
Mm-hmm.
not forget that. So we
Yep.
will not. So if you're coming on Monday to get any, and I mean this at the bottom of my heart, there will not be nothing men's wrestling on Monday. Nothing. I'm like seriously. Like we will save all of it if they want to talk about it on Friday, since that's technically the last. That's
Well,
fine.
I won't be there Friday.
No, you won't, but Stephanie will.
I mean, yeah, true.
I said they, whoever is there, because we will
I'm
Friday.
everybody.
We will be we will be all over the place next week. So make sure you guys are tuning
Mm-hmm.
in. If you don't see us, please still tune in.
Yeah.
Please, we need that. Even if the Salt Shakers ain't in the building, we somewhere. We watching y'all. We know when y'all come in. We know when you're not. Okay, we know when
We're
you're
gonna
not in
call
the
you
comment.
out too.
We call you out. We ain't got no problem. With that being said, next Monday, do not forget Women's History Month dedication episode to Monday Night Raw, and we'll take home episode. So we will cover all of the women's matches. Not only now I won't kill y'all with Charlotte on Monday, because obviously that's not the brand she on. But with that being said, we will go over Charlotte and Ronda, because that will be our last time giving you guys our expectations and what we think will happen at WrestleMania. So make sure you check out the Salt Shakers Go Home episode next Monday. I hope you guys have a blessed time. Before we leave, Santana, let these people know what engine they need to follow you.
I'm gonna just hold up a sign and say Google. Like
That's it.
Just type in my name, Driune Santana, even if you spell it wrong, like some of y'all do in the comments. I just don't point y'all out no more because like it's right there. Just Driune Santana, and that's about it.
Yikes. Well, you guys know where you can find me, the one and only Nickie Booshie. I'm turning up next week on the whole Charlotte thing. So if you don't like Charlotte Flair, please do not come to my page. I will, and I've been listen. I've been reading some of y'all comments. Next week, I'm just gonna let y'all know. It's one page particular, I'll be there. I got time next week because I ain't been having time for some of their comments. I've been
Oh
watching.
God.
I got so much time next week. I'm gonna be trolling next week. So if you don't want to have fun, because listen, there's beauty in this. You gotta sometimes enjoy being a heel, and this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Okay, you gotta have some heels. Everybody can't be baby faces.
We are the top heels.
We are the top heels in the company. We don't have time. So I'm gonna say this now, and we just hit an hour. If you ain't ready, we did. If you're not ready, please listen, and please make sure you guys are following us on all social media. And before you go to bed, remember, Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show
on the planet.
The planet.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.